Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is Sunday, June 25th. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. I'm standing alongside the polderbaan. I made a last minute change in my initial plan. I wanted to go to Kaagbaan today, but the wind is blowing from the southeast. And I wasn't too sure about Kaagbaan being open for departures the entire time. Even though the wind is not blowing very hard, you do have crosswind, if not tailwind, when taking off from that runway. So I felt going back to polderbaan for arrivals was a more safer bet for showing you continuous traffic. And what we saw arrive just now was an Airbus A330 from KLM arriving from Kuwait City, KLM flight 460. It is warm already. It is about 24 degrees Celsius or hitting 80 degrees Fahrenheit already at this moment. A lot of people already active in the chat. Good morning, Sander, Jan Kees, Rowenda, Tim, good morning. Dale, good morning. So many people already. Jean-Yves, salut, good morning. Arnoud, goedemorgen, good morning. Remco, goedemorgen. Erwin, goedemorgen. Cathay Spotter and Peppy Pito, good morning. And Servus. Hey there, Roger, who is an early bird or a night owl, checking in from the state of Washington. So that is a 9-hour time difference. Probably night owling still, just past midnight then over there. So if you look in the ticker, you can see the wind is blowing with 6 knots from 140 degrees, varying between 110 degrees and 170 degrees. So that means wind is coming from the southeast to south. Still Cavoque, still no significant weather. QNH, the air pressure around the same as yesterday, 1018 hectopascal. Temperature 24, the dew point is 17 degrees. And Roger is night owling. Well, it's not late night yet. It's 9-hour time difference, isn't it? So just past midnight on the west coast, if I'm not mistaken. We saw British Airways just land. There's also a police helicopter by the looks of it. Where's that? The Lifeliner trauma chopper. No, it is trauma chopper. The Lifeliner, one of the few that we have in the Netherlands, based on the rooftops of a couple of academic medical centers throughout the Netherlands. We have 4, if I'm not mistaken. One is situated over VU Medical Center, that is on the Ring Highway, south side of Amsterdam. I think there's also one in Rotterdam. And I think we also have one in Groningen and in Nijmegen. So these can always be called into action whenever there's a life-threatening situation and patients need to be transported to the hospital quickly, or patients need stabilizing really quickly. Now, in terms of interesting traffic that you don't typically see, oh wait, no, that is the helicopter. Is it returning already? Does it need to go over there, or looks like it's going to land? Okay, so medical emergency, is that on the A9 highway? If anybody knows more, do let us know in the chat. Right. If anybody knows more, keep us updated in the chat. In the meantime, 3 airplanes are arriving over here. You can visually see the glide slope, as it were. In the meantime, Dave A010, good morning. Marius, good morning. Richard, goedemorgen, good morning. Hey there, Irvin, good morning. Will I be filming the PY993 departure? Well, the downside of being located over here is that departures are hard for me to film. I am able to film departures from 06 somewhat, but unless they have a destination to the north or to the northwest, you will probably not see a lot of it. If they are going to the north from the Kaagbaan 06, they are turning around and coming back towards us, where we are standing right here. So that makes it easier to see. So PY993, let me know where is it going to and what time will it be departing. Will also depend on which runway will be used. Hey there Marco, goedemorgen, good morning. And Cafe Spotter has been a member for a month. Where was that message? I did see it. Here it is. Thank you so much, Cafe Spotter. And if I need any mods, I will know your offer. I will remember your offer. Right now, I think I'm still good, but thank you for offering. Got a couple of narrow bodies coming in right now. And Remco also going to the polderbaan straks. See you later then. In 8 minutes, 747 Koenie is saying. And Arnoud is informing that Lifeliner 1 was airborne for Vijfhuizen. So that is indeed in the vicinity over here. Me myself asks, where are the ducks? That's a very good question. I think there were some birds over there, but yeah, exactly, they were coots. They are coots. I thought I recognized them when passing by. The ducks, well, by now we know that ducks are no early birds. They are more night owls, if anything. And as you guys can see over here in the water, all is quiet so far. So I haven't seen the ducks yet. Yesterday as well, we did only begin to see them at around the end of the morning. Now, where is that airplane? There it is. Still difficult to sometimes find the traffic, even if it is really close by already. Ah, PY993 going to Suriname. Ah, okay, yeah. Well, it will probably take off from 06, so I will be able to capture it when it does take off later in the morning. But don't expect that you can see a lot from over here. I will warn you, we are relatively far out from the main platform area, also from runway 06. You might be able to recognize that it is an A340. Let me see if I can give you an example later. Hey Belinda, goedemorgen. Gosse, goedemorgen, good morning. Rick, goedemorgen. Alles goed, kerel? Andrew, good morning. Asking where are the grebes? Well, the grebes are also hiding still. Right, incoming is Air Europa, the daily flight from Madrid. This is the Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner. The flight typically lasts 2 hours or so. Now this particular Dreamliner is 5 years old. First flight was in March 2018. And indeed, Dale, the birds are sleeping in. That is typical. Okay, thanks for the update there, Ervin. Departure time 10:20, so that is in 45 minutes from now if they don't get delayed. Also, I'm looking both ways now. I'm trying to give you an example of what you can see from traffic taking off from 06 once something does take off. But on the other hand, behind me there's also traffic, and Kuni was informing us that we are also in avoidance of a 747, so we definitely don't want to miss any of that. Don't see any traffic immediately taking off, so let's turn around for the incoming traffic then. Another A330. This one is coming in from Edmonton, Canada. KLM flight 676 A330-200. She is 17 years old. And hey there, Mr. Ozos with the difficult name. Larry, good morning. And indeed, this is the longest wheelie so far. Still doesn't come close to what we saw yesterday with that 777-300. But maybe there are other planes that are going to surpass it. We'll see. Now, nice shot, trauma chopper, heavy in the foreground, Queen in the background. Veldig guten Morgen. Your timing, excellent. Now, look at this, in the foreground, Turkish A330 arriving from Istanbul, flight 1951. This airplane is underway now for 2 hours and 55 minutes. The airplane is 12 years old, first flight was in November 2010, and behind it is the first Queen of the day. And that is Air China Cargo Flight 1001. Boeing 747 arriving from Chengdu. Flight time 9 hours 41 minutes. Boeing 747-400 freighter, 17 years old. First flight of the 747 was in December 2005. First up, Turkish A330 arriving from Istanbul, flight 1951. And the wheelie competition is on, ladies and gentlemen. All right, well. I think we have a runner-up so far. Will the Queen do better? We'll soon find out. Let's quickly turn around the camera and see the lady approach. In the meantime, temperatures are warm already, 24 degrees Celsius. It is set to become 30 degrees later in the day. Tropical weather, so that is about 19 degrees Fahrenheit. At the moment, looking around, and you guys can see as well, there are no clouds whatsoever. I'm also looking up quickly. The downside of this weather is that I don't see any contrails. Yesterday it was also hard to spot them, so overhead traffic will be a bit more difficult to follow on days like today than would be the case otherwise. Let's see how the Queen will do in the wheelie department. Nah. But boy, doesn't that sound good. Hopefully you guys still have functional speakers and eardrums. Hey there, Arne. Thank you for your compliment. Always love your show. Thank you for joining us and saying hi in the chat. All other viewers who are new to the channel and just tuned in, you're watching AMS Live, welcome. Feel free to say hi if you have any questions. Also feel free to ask. People in the chat over here are very knowledgeable and very friendly. In the foreground we see K3, one of the 4 bird control vehicles that are always 24/7 patrolling, making sure that no bird strikes, or at least they try to prevent bird strikes as much as possible. TNC, good morning. Rom NYC, good morning. Also perfectly timed. 3:40 a.m. The neighbors are awake now. And yes, Mike, it is set to become 90 Fahrenheit later in the day. It is already 24 Celsius, so that is 2 times 24, 48 plus 30, 78. It is already approaching 80 degrees Fahrenheit over here in the morning. That's why I'm also out early. Don't want to be out here in the sun when it gets excruciatingly warm. And it is going to get excruciatingly warm over here. That is something I'm pretty certain of. Now, there is traffic coming, but it is still a bit out. Do I see it visually yet? I don't. Will become visible in a moment. An Airbus A388 from Air France arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle. Now this is, I believe, one of the Ford Rangers that they are using. They also have VW pickup trucks. They do all exclusively use pickup trucks, the bird controllers. You hear it. They are now using their soundboard. They also have bird sounds from predator birds and natural enemies of the birds that flock around over here at Schiphol Airport. So they can use fireworks, as is demonstrated right now. I think they're watching the show right now and just following along as what I'm telling you guys. So they have the whistling stuff like you heard just now. They also have more flat out bangs, things that just explode, and the soundboard. So if they, and there's the explosion. Right, so in the meantime, let me turn around the camera Incoming traffic, Air France flight 1340. It is an Airbus A220 arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle. Brand new, first flight January 2023. This airplane is underway now for 41 measly minutes. And yes, Rom NYC, I purchased a Sennheiser MKE 600 a few months ago because I was having difficulties with the Rode video mic Go 2 that I was using before, particularly during windy conditions. Well, not even windy conditions, even breezy conditions. A mild breeze would elicit a crackling sound that I couldn't mitigate. So I bit the bullet and went for a real proper microphone, shotgun microphone that also has a dedicated XLR plug. My camera also has XLR plugs, so that also mitigates or prevents interference from electromagnetic interference. And I also made a change to the setting in my wireless modem, because both my DJI mic that I use for voiceover mic and my wireless router were transmitting on the same frequency, 2.4 gigahertz. So I had interference. So whenever I was talking, you could hear some sort of stutter. And also during live streams, sometimes my bitrate fell for unknown reasons. And I only found out recently that they both were using the same frequency. And the DJI mic you cannot switch, but the router you can switch to 5 gigahertz. So that definitely made a world of difference. Now the voiceover also sounds much clearer and crisper without any stuttering, or at least I haven't noticed it recently. And the bitrate of the streams has also been continuously high, the maximum I can achieve with my current setup. In the meantime, a lot of people tuning in. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Elske. Good morning, Hans Joachim. Vincent, good morning. The next airplane to arrive, visible in the distance, is Sky Express A320neo, flight 8250, arriving from Heraklion in Greece. Flight time at the moment 3 hours 20 minutes. The airplane is 2 years old. First flight was in November 2020. Well, Roman NYC, I'm happy to hear that it sounds crisp to you too. Glad I'm not the only one who was experiencing it like so. And Peter, good morning. And too bad you have to go already, PPTT Cure Boy. Also a tongue breaker, tongue twister. Enjoy the rest of your day, mate. Take care. En goed smeren if you go into the sun. Lord knows I certainly put on a lot of sunscreen before going out. Just happy that there is a little bit of wind over here, otherwise it would have been warm, too warm almost. And it's still early in the morning. A lot of squeakiness in brakes these days. Initially, a few months ago, I only thought it was with the Embraers, but you hear it with many airplane types these days. and still properly aligned to get you this proper butt shot. Yesterday, coincidentally, I found out that standing over here makes me in line with the first exit. Hey there, George. Goedemorgen, good morning. Now, still quiet over here. There is movement in the water further out. Is that a grebe? I think we have the first duck of the show. Looks like a lady duck. She might be on her own. I don't see any companions in the vicinity. Also don't see the coots anymore. They were here before. Let me quickly turn around the camera because we are expecting another heavy. Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner from KLM arriving from Delhi. And Rom NYC asks if there are any 757s coming to AMS. The only operator I can think of that still comes to Amsterdam with 757s every now and then is Icelandair. They still have a couple in their fleet. These days they do tend to use their 737 Maxes or their 767-300ERs most of the time, but we do occasionally get to see their 757 in the old livery. I cannot immediately think of any other operators that still use 757s at least to Amsterdam. Similar to how we only get one flight with the Emirates A380 a day. We used to have more operators that flew the A380 to Amsterdam. I think Korean Air was one of them, and also one of the Chinese operators, although I don't recall from by heart which one it was. They all had the sound of sounding a bit racist. They all look the same. It's all Air China this or China Cargo or China Airlines or Eastern. It's hard to keep them apart. So this is KLM flight 872, Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner arriving from Delhi in India after a flight of 8 hours 31 minutes about to touch down. This airplane, 3 years old, first flight was in January 2020. One pot net. One wet pot. Indeed, Rick. China Southern was flying the A380, is Matthijs saying. Thank you for that, Matthijs. And Mike asks, what runway am I at? This is the Polderbaan runway, currently in use as runway 18 right. So this is 36 left, 18 right, the westmost of the 3 north-south oriented runways of Schiphol. Latest addition also to the network of runways. So this one was built in 2003, celebrating its 20th year in use this year. And it is far out. It's almost near Haarlem. This is the control tower that is located next to the terminal building, and this is where the departures and the arrival halls are, where all the gates are. So you can see it is quite far away. So far away so that they built a dedicated ATC control tower over here just for this runway, which is located over here. And over here in the foreground, this is the fire station that is also dedicated for this runway, or at least this area of the platform. Airplanes landing over here and taxiing back to the main platform area still have a 15-minute on average taxi ahead of them from this point where the airplane is now at. Behind the building of the firefighters and the ATC tower, you see this line of trees, and that is bordering the taxiway back to the main platform area. They also have to cross the main canal of Haarlemmermeer and also have to go over the A5 highway, and eventually they'll reach the main platform area. You can see the airplanes in the distance behind the trees. That is where the action takes place and where the gates are. Now, we just missed the touchdown of a Norwegian. Looks like another grumpy face on the tail. Hard for me to see because not only do we have backlight on the screen, I also have reflection of the sunlight in the canal I'm standing next to. That is annoyingly shining in my eye as I'm trying to look on my camera screen, being oriented like so. Alright. In the meantime, the pipeline is filling up. 3 airplanes are already coming this way and more is underway. Let's see. Focus on it. Switch to manual focus. Hey there Rolf, goedemorgen, good morning. Checking in from Sittard, where it is probably warm as well. And I think we might also see greeblings, ducklings. Let's look in a minute, see what is going on over there. Now the EasyJet is foregoing the first exit by the looks of it. Oh no, it is in fact taking the first exit. Just curious to see what is going on in the water over there. Where was it? Where are they? Are they there? They are good at hiding. Huh. They were there a minute ago. Well, maybe they'll pop up later in the morning. Let's see. There's an interesting approach going on from a 777 arriving from Johannesburg, shortcutting to the glide slope. Which means I should be able to see it arrive. I think that might be a bit more interesting for a change. There we go. So I'm foregoing the LL 737-900 that is already lined up, just to follow this 777-300ER a little bit longer. Arriving from Johannesburg, shortcutting a bit. well, it is going to the glide slope eventually. We'll see it in a minute. Let's just have a look at this first. So this is Boeing 737-900 arriving from Tel Aviv, just touching down. An airplane that is 9 years old had its first flight in March 2014. Hey there Dave, happy Sunday! Checking in from the East Coast, so that is 4 AM. A lot of US night owls. A warm welcome to all. STFN, good morning. So this is KLM. Picking the wrong airplane. Oh, now. Accidentally did something wrong. Up jet photos via flight radar apparently. Oh, now it is going maximized. That is not good. First of all, going back to the chat. Okay, that is still okay. Now opening up flight radar again. Enable split screen. Alright, there we go. Well, had a little hiccup there. New window opened. Not being able to see your messages in the chat because a different window opened up in my browser. Also not being able to look at the background details of the triple that just landed. It was coming in from Johannesburg. 777-300ER, 11 years old it was. Now more traffic is coming. It is still a bit far out. Also looking up, I don't see any contrails whatsoever. The prevailing wind is blowing. Looks like it's mostly from the south right now. Looks like the smoke is blowing away from me. In the water, all quiet. Oh no, I do see some movement. Let's see. Maybe we can pick them up now. Yeah, that has the semblance of a duck as well. Maybe we saw Mama Duck and her ducklings then earlier. Now it looks like at the moment, oh wait, yeah. So in reference to the A340 from Suriname, if it is going to take off from 06, this is approximately what you would be able to see of its departure. So you would only barely recognize that it is perhaps an A340. You might see a little bit of detail on the livery, but it will be moving away from us because it is going to Paramaribo. So not turning back towards us. Croatia A319 arriving from Zagreb. This is. Let's look at the butt. This is the butt shot angle. And in the meantime, thank you so much, Colin, for your super sticker. A thumbs up. Very much appreciated. Thank you so much, my friend. And good morning to Yorkshire Biker, who is also back at it again. Welcome, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Paul, good morning. Also checking in from Leiden. I see. Welcome, one and all. Also, the new viewers who just found this channel, welcome. You're watching AMS live streams from Schiphol Airport. My name is Boy. We are standing next to the Polderbaan. The weather, as you guys can see, it is beautiful. I'm now turning the camera to the west. I'm turning the camera to the north, where the airplanes are coming from. This is to the east. This is to the south. You can see no cloud in the sky at all. It's getting nice and warm already, 24 degrees Celsius. I'm thinking it might be warmer already. So that is about 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and the day's high is expected to be around 30 degrees Celsius or around 90 Fahrenheit. EasyJet A320 Neo arriving from London Stansted. In the Neo livery. Brand new, this airplane. Had its first flight July last year. So almost a year old. Looks like the next airplane is going to be a 777 freighter from Emirates Sky Cargo, arriving from Dubai. Hey there, Adebos Kesil Jr., who is once again checking in from Indonesia. Good evening to you. Nelly, goeiemorgen. Lieve, goeiemorgen. Good morning to you both. Welcome to the show. Hope you guys are still keeping your heads cool. It is getting nice and warm over here. Another departure from 06. Now, as I was saying, if they have a destination to the north or to the northeast, like for instance yesterday we saw a Finnair A350 take off to Helsinki from 06, it then will start to turn to the right around here and come back towards us, and we can see it fly head over. There is one such plane passing right now, just to show you guys what that looks like, if I can find it, that is. But I have found it already. So this is a plane that just took off from 06 and is now climbing and probably flying to Scandinavia or something. A nice KLM Embraer by the looks of it. Have to be careful though. I am standing on the edge of a dike and the ground is sloping down just in front of me. So if I have to go around the camera, need to be careful that I don't slip and fall into the water over here. Although that would be refreshing, probably also be gross. Ah, and that is going to Trondheim. Thanks for the update there, Sander. So, incoming is Emirates Sky Cargo, flight 9906. It is a Boeing 777 freighter originating from Dubai. Flying now for 6 hours and 22 minutes. This 777 freighter is 10 years old and had its first flight in November 2012. Bommetje. Well, I would much rather take a bommetje into the into a regular swimming pool than into this water. My guess is that this water isn't even that deep. You would probably get stuck in the mud on the bottom of the water, but it's probably only 40 or 50 centimeters deep or so, if I had to take a guess. Hey there, Pavlos Chris, checking in from Cyprus, where I'm guessing it is also nice and sunny and warm. Hey Jochem, goedemorgen, good morning. Now, as Sander was already mentioning, next up is going to be an Embraer arriving from Prague, the Czech Republic. An Embraer 190 KLM flight 1352, underway now for 1 hour and 8 minutes. And this airplane is 5 years old. First flight was in February 2018. Let's see, where is it? Where are you? Still very faint in the distance. Let me make sure that the focus is properly set to infinity. Keep it on manual focus for the time being. Oh, we can also see a little plane in the distance, just the lights visible. That's a good one, Peter. If you want to see 10 police cars arriving with 250 kilometers an hour in just a minute, jump into that canal. Well, maybe we'll save that for another day. Although I would make sure that I would set the camera properly aligned so that you guys could see. When I am going to do it, I am going to do it for a live audience. All for the likes, of course, as a proper influencer would do. Nah, but all jokes aside, it is a relatively measly form of protection. If it freezes, if we ever get frost in the winter, you can easily just walk over the canal. You can see that the dike, it is only like 60 centimeters high or so. So I'm surprised that you haven't had more incursions, people just going onto the runway area in the winter. But I'm happy that they don't have fences all around, because you do have unobstructed views like these that make it a rather unique place to be airplane spotting from. Damn those squeaky brakes. Does seem much more prevalent than a few months ago when it was just an Embraer phenomenon. Got that right, Dave. You can either enjoy the entertainment or be the entertainment. Yeah. Grand Theft Auto AMS lifestyle. Right, next up, Boeing 737-800 arriving from Berlin, KLM flight 1822. On the way for 54 minutes. The airplane is 3 years old. First flight was in December 2019. And we're going to see another heavy behind it. If I looked at flight radar correctly just now. Goedemorgen Jochem, goedemorgen Aaron, good morning. Sim Eric, good morning. Raymond, good morning, goedemorgen. Leo, good morning. Missy Ghost, good morning. Tuning in with a cup of tea, or is that a cup of coffee? Hey, 68 Twig, good morning. Another A330 for the wheelie competition, indeed, me myself. So far, the wheelies haven't been as impressive as the one we saw yesterday from that 777 in the SkyTeam livery. If you missed it, I did timestamped it yesterday. It was in yesterday's stream. It was quite a lengthy wheelie. Let's see how this one will do. The pitch is promising. You typically see longer wheelies when they have higher pitch. Yes. You guys tell me. That was probably the longest we've seen thus far. And Raymond is saying that there's an Atlas Air 747 with ETA 15 minutes. That is very good news. And oh, I forgot my cookies, Richard. It was such a good suggestion. The only thing I brought along was an extra thermos of water. Speaking about thermoses, I also have one of them filled with coffee. Let's not get that too cold. Right, done with the coffee. Now all I have left is 3 pints of water, one of which is cooled in a thermos, and 2 half liters in my bags, protected from direct sunlight. Speedbird Neo. Very nice butt shot. Hey Veerle, goedemorgen. Hey Joey, goedemorgen. And Aaron warning that a lot of heavies are incoming in the next 15 minutes. Let's see how it goes. Before the heavies bombard us with their presence, first this EasyJet. Next up is going to be Tarom, the daily flight from Bucharest, A318, the baby bus. Flight 361, arriving from Bucharest. Right, now the heavies are coming in. The first one of which is going to be this Dreamliner from American Airlines, arriving from Philadelphia, flight 204. Airborne now for 6 hours and 55 minutes. Boeing 7878 Dreamliner, 2 years old. First flight was in October 2020. Now, if you liked what that looked like, let's do it over again with its bigger brother. Next up is going to be a Boeing 7879 Dreamliner from KLM, flight 749, arriving from Cartagena. And this airplane is underway for 9 hours and 17 minutes right now. The airplane is 6 years old. First flight was in September 2016. We can already see an airplane in the distance behind it, just about. That is an Air France A320. Very flat landing. Interesting how it almost landed flat and hardly flared. No wheelie. Right, next up, Lufthansa, flight 988, Airbus A320, arriving from Frankfurt. Still 46 minutes of flying time, apparently. I would have thought it was a bit closer than that to Amsterdam. The airplane is 8 years old, first flight was in September 2014. Ooh! Verde has to fly again later today. 3 flights. If you're starting out in the afternoon, then it's probably going to be a late end of the workday today. Also staying the night in Luxembourg and then flying back tomorrow. Hopefully not an early shift tomorrow then. Or do you need to fly home on one of the flights back to Amsterdam on a day off? I'm assuming that's not the case. Hey there, Matt, about planes, checking in from Brisbane. The wife and I are coming to Amsterdam early September. We would love to catch up with you. Is there public transport from Amsterdam to the Polderbaan? That's a very good question, Matt, about planes. I have no idea because I always take the car. So I think there are bus stops in the vicinity, although don't ask me where they are and what, if you can go there directly from Amsterdam. It's probably easy to rent a bike and get there on bike, but you never know how the weather is going to be like, what the weather is going to be like in that time of year already. Public transportation. I'm sure there are people in the chat here more knowledgeable about this subject than I am, who can tell you more. I'm pretty sure that there must be bus stops in the vicinity. Now let's quickly turn around the camera. We have one KLM Embraer 190 arriving from Geneva, and then it is heavies time once again. And we get photo bombed by a bug. There are also bugs over here. Now, looks like the second airplane is relatively close by, but it is a much bigger airplane. Can we see the third one already? Yeah, also visible. Right. First up, this Embraer 190 arriving from Geneva, KLM flight 1926. Flight time 1 hour 16 minutes at the moment. The airplane is 14 years old. First flight was in October 2008. And it is being chased by a 777. Ooh, look at that. Nice flare. Nice pitch. That could have been a nice long wheelie, but it wasn't. It turned out that it was just window dressing. leading us to believe we were going to see a nice big wheelie. Alright, this is A777 arriving from Cape Town, flight 598, 777-300 ER. Now, don't go anywhere, folks. The second queen is number 2 right now. Look at that. What a beautiful sight. In the foreground, United Airlines Flight 968, Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner arriving from San Francisco, underway for 9 hours 48 minutes. The airplane is 8 years old, first flight was in April 2015. Behind it is a Boeing 747-400 from Atlas Air, Flight 5421, arriving from Miami, Florida. The airplane is a 747-400 freighter, 24 years old, first flight was in October 1998. Hey there, Homagat, Gav Byrne, Darren, Gisela, Hans D, good morning and welcome to each and every one of you. Hope everybody is doing well. You guys tuned in just in time. Second queen of the stream. Hey Alvin, good evening my friend. So here she is once again, Atlas Air 747-400 arriving from Miami, Florida. 8 hours and 1 minute underway according to flight radar. She's 24, first flight was in October 1998. And if you look in the left upper quadrant, you can also see the next airplane, a measly 737-800 from KLM arriving from London Heathrow. In the meantime, I think the Coots have gone back to their stone lookout place. And one is doing some Tai Chi by the looks of it. Doing an exercise where you have to stand on one leg. Or is that yoga? Doing a little bit of washing on the go. Queenie, in the meantime, retracted the flaps. And going back to the gate, or I should say to the parking for cargo airplanes. Obviously no passengers that need to go off board other than the pilots. Right. The pipeline is filled. The first airplane to arrive is going to be an Embraer 190 arriving from Zurich. KLM flight 1954. On the way now for an hour and 12 minutes. The airplane is 14 years old. First flight was in January 2009. After that we are going to see an A319 from EasyJet arriving from Milan. And after that a 777 from Air Canada. Gisela says no sound here. Are other people also experiencing this? Or what typically helps is if you refresh the stream, the browser. Okay, Peter says sound is perfect. A380 still 2.5 hours away. Kuni, what is it? Is it a normal livery or a standard, a special livery? I forgot to check before going out. And what is the expected time of arrival? Probably around 1 p.m. Ah, better now. Did you refresh the browser page, Gisela? Okay, a few hiccups after the Atlas landed. Interesting. 747 induced radio interference. That was it. And Baba T is saying sound is perfect. Who is watching from Abuja in Nigeria. How nice. Welcome to the stream. Hope you are enjoying yourself. All other viewers who are new to the channel, welcome as well. Now why is... Okay, so was the refresh the trick? Geluid luid en duidelijk, awesome. Peter PDK says it's 27 Celsius already. I haven't updated the ticker yet with the latest meter. I'm thinking it might also approach 27 Celsius already over here. Yeah, it could also be the shitty German internet. Who knows? A lot of folks every now and then report having issues with sound or with buffering, and what typically helps is to refresh the website, the browser page. So this is a Dreamliner arriving from New York JFK, flight 644. Nice one. Now, hard to say from memory which was the longest, but this is definitely one in the top 3. Hey, morning Lisa. Good to see you again. Now, coots are still doing a bit of washing. For the rest, over there on that side, not much to be seen. And further out over here, also not a lot. We did see a group of ducks further out momentarily, but we haven't seen them since. Just the one duck in the distance. Super G is watching from a beach in Phuket, drinking some beer. That is absolutely wonderful. And Bobby Griffin, good morning to you too. Here is an A319 arriving from Munich, Lufthansa. Looking a bit like a KLM landing, keeping up the speed, foregoing the first exit, continuing on the runway. And in the meantime, thank you so much for your generous super sticker there, Gisela. Video game controller jumps up and down excitedly. I like those descriptions, they are always good. Thank you so much for that, Gisela. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Salut Camille, good morning. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well. Now, we haven't seen the firefighters this morning. Not sure if they're going out on their patrol round or if they don't do that on Sunday. Normally speaking, you would see them over here. I think that is one vehicle, isn't it? Let me look on the laptop. Yeah, that is one of their vehicles. Well, not sure if they are going for another round or maybe not. Ah, Munich is not far from you, Gisela. Excellent. I would love to live in the vicinity of the Alps, so that whenever there is snow you could go grab your skis and go out for a nice weekend of skiing within a few hours drive. How good would that be? The closest ski slopes on real, well, mountains is perhaps a big word, but hills for us in the Netherlands is Winterberg. I have heard from relatives who went there that it was actually quite nice. more elaborate than you would originally think. Alright, so this is what you can see of departures from Kaagbaan. Not a whole lot. Hey Tempekoud, good morning. Jens, good morning. Yeah, exactly. A lot of Dutch go to Winterberg, particularly if they have small children or are not very experienced themselves. Me personally, I've been skiing now for over 30 years and I like making big tours, so I used to always go to the Zillertal, initially to Gerlos before it became so popular among the Dutch. It was still in the 1990s. When it was not as populated, it wasn't as much as a Dutch enclave as it is these days. Later did not go up the mountain but stayed in the valley because of the Zillertaler super ski pass that you can also use up to the glacier, so that you can go to a different skiing area each day with the Zillertalbaan going from Meyerhoven to different areas, or stay in Zellamzieler, take the bus to the glacier. The last couple of times I've been going to Italy. Going to Canazei in Val di Fassa, one of the areas that surrounds the mountainous plateau where the Sella Ronda is around. If you ever like skiing in good, beautiful nature, definitely go there. Extremely varied, both for beginners and for more advanced skiers. Good food, beautiful nature, really excellent, highly recommended. Right, a beautiful shade of dark blue in the foreground, and that is ITA Airways flight 120 arriving from Milan, A319, airborne now for 1 hour and 27 minutes. The airplane is 10 years old, first flight January 2013. And as Francesco is saying in arrivo, the A319 da Milano. And AD Boss has to go already. Too bad. Enjoy the rest of your evening and thank you for joining once again. Hopefully see you soon. And thanks for joining. Now, as much as I like KLM blue, I think that the ITA Airways blue is prettier. Call me a traitor, if you will. What I just do. It's just a prettier shade of blue, both in grey weather and when the sun is out. And she is giving us the butt. Now, I wanted to wait until the spoilers go down, but it is back-to-back action. 777 already landing. Doing a little bit of a wheelie. Although, unfortunately, not the longest. the loudest. Hope you guys are still able to hear properly. This was China Southern Cargo, Boeing 777 arriving from Guangzhou. 777 freighter, 13 years old. First flight was in 2009. Now, next up, an E2 Embraer 195. I'm also scanning the air to see if maybe I can spot some contrails, but well, let me show you guys. It is still bright blue all around. The wind has picked up a little bit. You can see more ripples in the water over here. Wind is blowing from the south. Nice that there is a bit of wind, otherwise it would have been excruciatingly warm right now. I can see 3 airplanes that are coming this way already. Let's begin with the E2 Embraer 195, arriving from Munich, KLM flight 1792, underway now for 1 hour and 10 minutes. The airplane is 2 years old. First flight was in February 2021. Also, while on the subject of winter sports and skiing, if you ever get the chance to fly to Innsbruck, do so. Our regular viewer Peppy can affirm undoubtedly that the approach, whether it is from the west or from the east into Innsbruck airport, is beautiful. You'll fly through the Inn Valley, below the tops of the mountains that surround you left and right. Really pretty. You'll also, when you do an approach from the east, you'll also fly over the city of Innsbruck on just a few hundred feet. You can see all things going on the ground. Really lovely. If you have gotten curious, look it up. There are probably onboard footage clips on YouTube of people flying into Innsbruck airport. I think I still have a few clips on my phone, doing some phone spotting during my last winter skiing trip when I was waiting for my flight to go back to Amsterdam. Embraer 190 arriving from Oslo, flight 1142 this is. Now touching down after a short flight, also approximately an hour. Doesn't say on flight radar anymore. The airplane is 9 years old. And it is already slowing down quite significantly. That is atypical for KLM. They normally keep up the speed. Forgo the first exit. This one is slowing down and is taking the first exit. That is everything that KLM isn't in my book. Treason. Hey there, WD Computer, Janice XXX, James Carey, Sven, good morning, goedemorgen. Harry, good morning. Checking in from Ontario, Canada. And James has issues with low resolution. Could that be the settings in YouTube themselves? If you go into the settings, maybe it defaulted to a lower resolution. Hey, werkse veerle. See you later, alligator. Air Malta. Probably coming in from Norway or something. Now next up is a Transavia 737-800 arriving from Mahon. I have no idea where that lies. Mahon. Let's see, flight time 2 hours. Boeing 737-800. This airplane 13 years old. First flight was in May 2010. All right. Ah, thank you, Peter. And Pop Transit. So, capital of Menorca. Menorca I do know. As you can tell, I never have been there. Otherwise I would have known it was the capital. Now, another butt shot. I do hear an airplane up in the sky. I'm looking up, blocking the sun, trying to see if I can spot a control, but I cannot. Still can't. We have another ITA Air coming in. This time around an A320neo arriving from Rome. And hey there! Ooh, I don't know how to read Thai. But you are watching from Thailand and enjoying the stream. Thank you so much for saying hi and welcome. What is your name? All other viewers who are new to the channel, welcome to AMS Live. You're watching arrivals on the Polderbaan. My name is Boy. This is ITA Airways flight 108 arriving from Rome, A320neo, 2 hours of flying. Brand new airplane, first flight was in April this year. And look at that shade of blue. Che bello. And also the Italian tricolore on the tail. Now yesterday we also had an old Alitalia Airbus coming in. Next up, well, I could have been on board this flight if it had been winter season. Transavia coming in from Innsbruck. Peppy might have seen this one take off just now, an hour earlier. We are going to see it land over here. Oh, pressing the wrong airplane in flight radar. There we go. Transavia flight 6610 arriving from Innsbruck. Now from experience I can tell you that it's typically an hour and 15 minutes of flying time on average. And the airplane is 23 years old already. First flight was in February 2000. Looks like 18 Center is also open again. I can see an Embraer 175 that looks to be coming to that runway. And I think I already see it as well. Okay, so it is again parallel arrivals at the moment. First up, Embraer 175 from KLM arriving from Nuremberg in Germany. KLM flight 1884. Underway now for an hour. The airplane is 5 years old. First flight was in November 2017. And Norwegian flying head over me. Just took off from 06. Going back to Norway, I guess. Already at 7,000 plus feet. And this is the Embraer arriving from Nuremberg. And there's another Embraer 175 arriving from Billund for 18 Center. Let me show you guys what you can see from the parallel arrivals from this point of view. So this is KLM flight 1342, Embraer 175 arriving from Billund. On the way now for 45 minutes. The airplane is 6 years old. First flight was in June 2017. Ooh, plane spotter Joshi informing me that the A340 is going to take off. In that case, let me abort following this airplane and focus on what we might see of the Suriname Airways A340. Let me also switch filters. Also go to outbound traffic so I can look along. Where is it? Don't see it on the ground yet. Oh, it is only taxi. Okay, well, it is still on the move. Yeah, taxiing at G-Pier. I thought it was already at the threshold. That's why I quickly turned around. Can you guys give me a signal when it is approaching the runway threshold? I think it is going to take off from 06. I'll make sure that I'll turn around the camera and see if we can follow it. Only recently did Suriname Airways acquire another A340, so we only get one flight of the A380, that is from Emirates. So that is always a highlight of the day, and now we have one regular, for the time being, flight of an A340, and it's going back to Suriname in a minute. So we'll see if we can pick it up and show you a bit of what we can see from over here. We are relatively far out. You guys can probably see more on your screen than I can on my 3-inch laptop screen, but I can at least follow the contour and hopefully you guys can pick up some details on the livery. It is going to be further away than this airplane currently is. Another Embraer 175, by the way, KLM flight 1764, arriving from Frankfurt. Flight time 47 minutes. The airplane's age 5 years. First flight was in October 2017. Now, unfortunately, in this time of year, the trees are in leaf, and that means that in a few moments we are not going to be seeing this airplane as well anymore as we are right now. In the winter you can see them much easier, obviously, when the trees are not in leaf. We should be able to pick it up through the holes. Or maybe it has already passed. I think it might have already passed. Probably did. Right, now there is traffic coming to this runway, but not before this airplane is passing by. So this is an A321neo from Iberia Express, arriving from Madrid. Airborne now for 1 hour and 55 minutes. The airplane is 2 years old. First flight was in July 2020. And hey there, Jacob. Checking in from Sydney. So good evening, mate. Yeah, so as plane spotter Joshi was saying, the A340 every other day flying to and from Suriname. Whereas the A380 from Emirates is a daily flight. All right. E2 Embraer 195 landing over here. Arriving from Manchester. KLM flight 1072. Relatively new airplane, 1 year old. March 2022. First flight. There's an Embraer 190 from Stavanger coming in for center. And also an Embraer 190 from Southampton coming in for right. Hey there, Mike Kilo, good morning. Good to see you again. All other viewers who have joined in the meantime, a warm welcome to you guys as well. Literally warm. It is quite warm already. Mid-20s Celsius, 80s Fahrenheit. Today's high expected to lie around 30 degrees Celsius or around 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Do have to remember to update the ticker. Give you the latest weather update. So this is an Embraer 190 arriving from Southampton. KLM flight 916. Oh, and it has a little rainbow sticker next to the city hopper logo. Now, interestingly, there's a 777 arriving from Canada that is going for center. So this is KLM flight 696, Boeing 777-200 arriving from Toronto, Canada. Flight time of this airplane 6 hours 25 minutes. It is a 777-200ER. She is 19 years old. First flight was in March 2004. And interesting that they are directing this airplane to center instead of right. Making me think, have they closed the runway temporarily? But there is traffic inbound for this runway. Huh. Hey there, Barbs, good morning. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well. Let me quickly go into the baangebruik app. Let me also grab one of my water bottles and do a bit of hydration. According to the baangebruik app, that shows current runway usage. 18 right and 18 center are both still in use for arrivals. Runway 24, the only runway in use for departures at the moment. Now the app is not always up to date. Irvin warning about the flight from Suriname Airways. Let me have a look. Where is it? Yeah, it is approaching the... It is still taxiing to the threshold of runway 24. I am going to wait for it. Let's see what we can make of it from over here. A couple of airplanes are on the move to the runway threshold of runway 24. At the moment there's an Air France lined up, ready to go. Not sure how many are going to go ahead. Hey there, Peter, good morning. So we're now waiting for the Suriname Airways A340 that is going to take off in a few minutes to Paramaribo. For the time being, the only somewhat regular flight in an A340 that is coming to Amsterdam. Ooh, but there's also a 7879 Dreamliner arriving from Austin in 2 minutes. Let's see. Yeah, well, the Dreamliner from Austin is currently number 3 or 4. Okay. Now, and William, if you want to know what equipment I'm using, check out the About section of my YouTube channel. I have a list there of the camera, the mount, etc. that I'm using. Right, so the Suriname Airways Flight 993 is now approaching the runway threshold. The preceding A220, so this is what you can see. Obviously the A340 is going to be a bit bigger. So I hope we can see this Suriname Airways A340 take off and then quickly go back to the incoming traffic and be in time for the Dreamliner arriving from Austin. I think we should make that. Suriname Airways now approaching the runway threshold. In the meantime, the 747 is landing or about to land on center. Okay, the A340 is turning onto the runway according to flight radar. In the meantime, over here, another Embraer. Right, so the A340 Suriname Airways Flight 993 is now lined up at the runway, ready to go. Airbus A340-300, we're about to see, 15 years old, first flight was in April 2008. Damn it, Alvin has to go. Your timing is very poor, my friend. But I will timestamp the departure of the Suriname Airways. It is taking off right now. Alvin, if you're still here, we're about to see it. Just a few more moments. I'm scanning visually to see where the A340 is going to appear. Emerge above the trees. So that I can show you hopefully more than I think we're going to see from it. We are relatively far out, but there it is. Suriname Airways, this is now fully zoomed in with optical zoom. A340-300, flight 993 going back to Paramaribo, Suriname. Right. Let's not forget about what's going on over here. Is this the Dreamliner from arriving from Austin? I think it might be. And hopefully you are still there, so I can say thank you while you are still able to hear it. Thank you so much, Alvin, for your Shiba Dog super sticker. Shiba Dog moves his arms saying goodbye. Enjoy the rest of your day, my friend, and hopefully we'll see each other again soon. Hope you did. You did manage to see it. Awesome. Perfect timing then, my friend. Perfect timing. So, let me go back and see what is going on in terms of the arrivals. So at the moment, 2 runways in use for arrivals. And there is traffic coming this way, but still relatively far out. Embraer 175 from Aalborg arriving. I just accidentally pulled the USB cable powering my phone, so let me plug that back in. Bit of a cable mess over here in one corner. Now, next up, in terms of arriving traffic for Polderbaan, because yes, that is still in progress, we have KLM flight 1228 arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle, one of the many flights between Amsterdam and Paris. This is a Boeing 737-800, an airplane that is underway now for 41 minutes. The airplane is 22 years old. First flight was in December 2000. Well, for a 737, that was definitely not the tiniest wheelies we've ever seen. Also approaching center, KLM Embraer 190 arriving from Bologna, flight 1586. Airborne now for an hour and 32 minutes. The airplane is 13 years old. First flight was in March 2010. What is the expected time of arrival of today's Emirates A380? Where is it currently flying? Normally speaking, it should arrive around 1 p.m. Maybe I missed an update about that. Just curious if it is a bit on schedule today. Now, the wind has definitely picked up a little bit. The next airplane for the Polderbaan is still a bit further out. It is visible already, but it is still a bit further out. Let me take this moment to update the ticker as well. Totally forgot about that. probably approaching 27 degrees Celsius over here as well. And looking at flight radar, there are a few heavies and a few airplanes that are coming in overseas. Will be approaching quickly, and indeed it has already warmed up to a comfy 27 degrees Celsius, so that is 84 degrees Fahrenheit if I do my quick math properly. Also update runway usage, dual runways and 24. So arrivals 18 right, 18 C, departures 24. Right, ticker fully updated. While we're still waiting for the next airplane on Polderbaan, a quick look at Aegean arriving from Athens, going to center. Flight 624 A320 on the way for 3 hours and 3 minutes. The airplane 8 years old. First flight was in June 2015. Now, the next airplane to arrive over here is an A330 arriving from Bonaire. KLM flight 765, one of the countdown flight numbers, A330-300, coming in from Bonaire, the Caribbean, on the way now for 8 hours and 51 minutes. This airplane 11 years old, first flight was in March 2012. Nice pitch. Wheelie time. Here we go. Check this out. Still up. Oh man, that is the new winner, I think. Oh, a bit bouncy. I think we have a new winner. But the nose wheel did bounce up and down. It was a double touch, if I'm not mistaken. And 9.5 out of 10, according to Dave. I think I agree. That was a very, very, very impressive one. Now, what I'm seeing is that there is a Dreamliner coming in from Las Vegas. But it looks like, unless flight radar is effing with us, like it's going to center, which I'm a bit surprised about. You would think it would be directed to the westmost runway. Maybe they're going to do a runway inspection or something. Yeah, and I can see it. I can confirm that it is. Well, Tim, the Dreamliner 10 is indeed the next one, but not for this runway. It is going to center for some reason. Don't know why. But here it is, and it is not flying to the Polderbaan. And you're right about that, Peter. I think it was Bart from V1 Aviation that coined the name butter machines for the A330s. And if you look at the landings, it's not hard to imagine why. So this is KLM flight 636, Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner, arriving from Las Vegas. But for some reason, it is not going to our runway. Remco? Nice. Mooi man, leuk.
Vanuit Arnhem, nou gaan we eindelijk ook eens een keer spotten.
Ah, je hebt gelijk. Wel, het is goed dat er wind staat, want anders is het wel echt te warm.
Mooi weer.
Het is mooi weer, maar jullie hebben in ieder geval een parasol mee, is verstandig.
Over 3 weken vliegen we zelf, dus we hadden zoiets van...
Even alvast checken.
Ik herkende de stem al, ik denk, hé, luister.
Ja, precies. Leuk man.
Alleen jammer dat 2 banen open zijn.
Maar ja, met de camera kan ik het nog wel redelijk volgen, dat is nog wel oké. Maar visueel is het leuker als het hier komt.
Leuk als we jaren 80 staan. Kwart over 1 staat die.
Kwart over 1, oké. Blijf ik ook nog daarvoor hangen. Mooie afsluiter altijd. Yeah, so for whatever reason, folks, the Dreamliner from Las Vegas has been redirected to center. Not sure if they're going to do a runway check or anything. So this is KLM flight 636, Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner, 3 years old, first flight December 2019. Arriving from Las Vegas, about to touch down after 8 hours and 55 minutes being airborne. And 1:15 is the expected time of arrival of the Emirates A388 stroopwafel. Remco, who is standing a few feet away from me, was just informing me about that. So that is a nice airplane for me to close the stream with. Meaning that I'm also going to be in the air until approximately 1:15 p.m. local time. In the meantime, we have another Dreamliner coming this way. First up is KLM flight 934, Embraer 190. And where is it? Oh, there it is. The sun is also starting to illuminate the 3-inch screen of my camera. That makes it a bit difficult at times to see small airplanes in the distance. KLM flight 934, Embraer 190, arriving from Dublin. This airplane underway now for 1 hour and 3 minutes. It is 9 years old. First flight was in December 2013. Let me, in the meantime, also rehydrate a little bit. Peter is informing us that we are going to see a Delta A350 coming in from Atlanta, former LATAM plane with an intermediate livery, not yet painted in the Delta colors. Still have my water bottle in my hand, so I can only access the fast zoom button. I really wanted to finish my first bottle of water, running a little behind on hydration. Now, if you guys check the ticker, let me refresh it. I can also take you through the latest weather. People have been asking what it is that you see in the ticker other than the runway usage, and that is the METAR, the weather report for the airfield. First up, TUI flight 511, Boeing 7878, arriving from Cancun. People going on holiday in Mexico. Isn't that also where a lot of youth in the United States, from the United States, go to for spring break? Or is that a different destination in Mexico? And I will remember to take something salty later, Paul. I ate pizza yesterday, cheese pizza yesterday, so I think my sodium level should be adequate for the time being. Anyway, the METAR has already passed. But before next traffic is getting close, we can do that refresh one more time. Hey there, Will, good morning. Definitely working hard. Well, it's not so much hard. It is warm. And as you guys can see in the ticker right now, the latest METAR scrolling by. AHAM, the name of the airfield. The 25th, 8:55 Zulu, meaning 10:55 local time. So this weather report dates from just over half an hour ago. First up is the wind. 170 is the direction the wind is coming from. So that is almost from the south, 06 knots. Variable between 120 and 210 degrees, so southeast and southwest approximately. CAV okay, ceiling and visibility are okay. Temperature 27 degrees Celsius, dew point 14 degrees Celsius, QNH air pressure 1017 hectopascal. No significant weather changes. Meaning it is sunny, it is warm, and the wind is coming from the south on average. Embraer 190 coming in from Newcastle, doing a little bit of a wheelie. Now, just skipping a bit because this semi-livery A350 from Delta, I want to see it a bit better. And as I was thinking, as Will is confirming, more tourists than Mexicans in Cancun. So this is Delta Airlines flight 74, Delta Airlines, but the livery is work under construction, so to speak. It is an A350 900 coming in from Atlanta, Georgia. After 8 hours and 18 minutes of flying, this airplane, 6 years old, first flight September 2016. So let's have a look what that looks like. Semi-LATAM cargo, semi-Delta hybrid. Well, from where I'm standing, it did not look very different from a standard livery. The same with There was also a Sky livery 737 from KLM that was still depicted with a blue nose tip. And also that got a nose job and had a nice silvery nose tip in the meantime. The photos on Flight Radar are not updated on a daily basis, is what we can conclude from this. Now, for the moment, a few more arrivals on center, not immediately something coming to this runway. So let's have a look and see what is cooking. It is a Transavia 737, flight 6916, Boeing 737-800, arriving from Olbia. Departed 2 hours and 2 minutes ago. The airplane 6 years old. First flight was in March 2017. Hey there, Amy. Good morning. And all other viewers who have joined us in the meantime, welcome as well. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. I'm standing next to the Polderbaan, runway 18 right, which at the moment, together with runway 18 center, are the two runways open for arrivals. The prevailing wind is blowing from the south on average, and the only runway in use for departures at the moment is runway 24. We have a momentary lull over here on the Polderbaan, meaning no immediate traffic just yet. It should pick up again, but looking at Flight Radar, it seems that a couple of airplanes are now being directed to the Polderbaan, the Zwanenburgbaan, which is 18 center. Now it might have to do with this. I think the bird controller might be doing a runway inspection at the moment, because I can see that there is a Delta Airlines A330 arriving from Minneapolis that is also being directed to 18 center. The only reason I can think of is because they are checking the runway. Hey Wilma, goedemorgen. So proud of me to stand there. It is hot. Well, it is. But the upside is, Wilma, there is also a bit of wind. That makes it bearable. If there hadn't been any wind, I probably wouldn't have been there here right now. Alrighty then. So I think the bird controller is doing a bit of patrolling. In the meantime, there are a few airplanes that are coming in, and there is a 737 from Transavia arriving from Malaga, and the aforementioned Delta Airlines A330, which I'm overlooking. There we go. Now, normally speaking, this airplane would have been directed to Polderbaan. The only reason I can think of is that they are checking the runway right now. We'll check in with that airplane in a minute. Let's go to the airplane closest by right now. That is this Transavia Boeing 737-800, flight 6116, arriving from Malaga in Spain. 2 hours 28 minutes underway. The airplane 4 years old. First flight December 2018. And there it goes. Hey there, Nicholas, and hey there, Donna. Say hi to her from me. Oh, Remco informing us that there is an A380 passing over. There is a little contrail. Let me see if I can spot it. Focus, infinity, manual. I think I can have it. Yeah. Where's it coming from and going to?
Manchester?
Manchester?
Dubai.
To Dubai. Okay. Emirates A388. First contrail of the day. The only contrail that is visible, I think, right now. And you can see also just how short the contrail, the tail is. So, not a lot of humidity in the upper atmosphere as well. In the meantime, the Delta A330 also close by. Thanks for the update there, Remco.
Als ik nog mooi zie op de radar, laat ik het gewoon weten.
Awesome. An extra set of eyes informing us about interesting stuff going on. Right next to me. Delta Airlines Flight 162 is this. Airbus A330-300 arriving from Minneapolis. After 7 hours and 48 minutes of flight, it has just touched down. 16 years old, first flight January 2007. Ooh! And Wilma was checking the traffic going to the TT in Asse. Also, of course, going on. And also the TT on the Isle of Man recently. That always makes the news in the Netherlands as well. Because it's fascinating to see how those bikers are taking such big risks. Of course, a world-renowned race. Hopefully, I might get to see it one day. Over here, SAS, flight 821, arriving from Oslo. Airbus A320neo. Flight time at the moment 1 hour and 22 minutes. The airplane 2 years old, first flight October 2020. Now, will we be seeing traffic on Polderbaan anytime soon? All traffic at the moment seems to be directed to center still. Let me quickly double check the runway usage app. Well, it still says 2 runways in use, 18 left, right and 18 center. So, for the time being, doing a little bit of distance spotting for traffic landing on 18 center. If you just tuned in, this is not the Let's Spot Distant Airplanes show, but the runway we are standing next to for the moment seems to be closed. I think they might be doing a runway inspection or something, although I don't see the bird control vehicle anymore. There's no reason I can think of why they would close Polderbaan in favor of center right now. So I'm expecting traffic to this runway to pick up soon again. For now, all airplanes are going to center. This one being an Embraer 190 arriving from Luxembourg. Flight 1740 underway for 44 minutes. Airplane is 12 years old. First flight was in August 2010. Now in terms of the water over here, still quiet. Don't see the koets anymore. Also further out, not a whole lot of movement. Wind direction seems to have changed a little bit. Was more from the south earlier, now it seems to have changed a bit more to the west, judging on the smoke of the chimney. And this would be a Pegasus Air A321 Neo arriving from Istanbul, flight 1251. Departed from Istanbul 3 hours and 2 minutes ago. New airplane, 1 year old, first flight March 2022. Now in 1.5 hours approximately we are expecting the daily Emirates A380 Super. Hopefully by then they will have closed runway 18 center, so that we are going to see it land over here on this runway. We were so lucky yesterday, so hopefully we can make it 2 days in a row. I see that Marissa is also back. Hey there Marissa, welkom terug. Goedemorgen. Just still. And Berend checking in from Den Helder. The north of mainland, the north of North Holland. And the northernmost part of mainland North Holland, if you can call it that. I think only Texel is included in the province of North Holland. The rest of the Wadden Islands are belonging to... Are they all Friesland? Does anybody know? Just wondering. Or is there also one belonging to Groningen? Not sure. Just wondering, never mind me. Embraer 190. Flight 1060 arriving from Cardiff. Short flight, 57 minutes, about to touch down. The airplane, 13 years old. First flight, January 2010. And 777s in the pipeline, according to Tim and Peter. That is good news. Let me pinch and zoom out a little bit. Oh yeah, that is interesting. Heavies are arriving from the west. They damn well better send them to the Polderbaan. Hopefully the runway is deemed to be adequately fit for those heavies, so that we can see them arrive. I'm already pointing the camera towards towards the north in anticipation, but they are still out. First airplane to arrive is going to be an Embraer 190. It's going to center, arriving from Edinburgh. Let's see if I can show you guys. Now the sun is illuminating the screen. I have to hold my hand in front of it. Maybe I'm... No, it's too far to the right. Okay. Real pain in the you-know-what. Let me try again. Focus on infinity and manual focus. Should be... Ah, got it. Finally. There we go. So while we are awaiting heavies, and Nelly has to go for shopping. Well, the upside is if you go to the supermarkets, they have air conditioning and at least inside you'll be cool. It was nice seeing you again, and hopefully see you soon. And enjoy the rest of your Sunday if you are not returning to the chat later in the stream. This is KLM flight 1278, Embraer 190 arriving from Edinburgh after an hour and 1 minute of flying according to flight radar. The airplane 9 years old, first flight January 2014. And there is a 777, but it is also going to center. What the? Are they all going to center? Huh. Interesting. And when I say interesting, I mean shit. Where is it? Should be over here. There we go. Alright, well. KLM flight 604, 777-200 arriving from LAX. Airborne now for 9 hours and 25 minutes. 777-200 ER. 16 years old, first flight January 2007. Not sure what is going on here. I see that all those heavies are now lining up for center. Everything looks to be going to center. Did they close the runway? They... Ironically, according to the runway usage app, they have switched it up, but, and this is where it gets interesting, Polderbound should be the only runway for arrivals right now. 18 right, not center, right. And now all traffic is going to center. I don't know what's going on. It says here that 18 right should be the only runway for arrivals, and then runway 24 and 18 left are the two runways now in use for departures. So go figure. What the F is going on? Yeah, I'm confused too, Lucas. What is going on here? Hey, Delta A330 is coming this way. Looking on flight radar by the looks of it. Okay, well. Few airplanes first to center, which should close. Hopefully they'll keep it shut until the A380 has landed. Hey there, King Ding, checking in from Austria. So if you guys are thinking what is going on here, well, we're waiting for new traffic to Polderbound. The first airplane should probably be a Delta Airlines A330 arriving from Detroit. The runway where this airplane is now flying towards, according to the website that documents the current runway usage, should be closed by now. So I am hoping that we are seeing the last couple of airplanes land on runway 18 center. If that is going to happen, it means that in a few minutes from now, all airplanes that are coming to Schiphol will be landing on the runway we are standing next to. That also might include the daily Emirates A388 Super arriving from Dubai in an hour and 20 minutes or so from now. Now I'm happy to report that there is traffic coming this way. It is still a bit far out, so let me also show you the 777 that is coming to runway center. That is KLM flight 682, Boeing 777-300ER. It is arriving from Vancouver, Canada, after flight time of 8 hours and 38 minutes according to flight radar. Although I'm still not sure when the clock starts ticking. When they say 8 hours and 38 minutes, does that mean from the time it went into the air? Or is that from pushback? From the moment that they were on the runway ready to spool up? Anyway, this airplane is 8 years old. First flight was in February 2015. Right. Now, traffic is coming back to the Polderbaan. The first of which is this A330. Delta Airlines flight 136, A330-300. Arriving from Detroit. That's Detroit, Michigan, isn't it? After 7 hours and 13 minutes of airtime, I think. Time counts from the time they lift off. Okay, so that means this airplane was airborne for 7 hours and 13 minutes, about to touch down in a few seconds. Not a very high pitch, but maybe it will do well in the wheelie department. Looks promising. No new record. Now this airplane is 19 years old. First flight was in March 2004. 8.25 according to Dave. I think you're right. Right, well, Harry informing us that by the time the Emirates A380 is arriving, we might see it land on this runway, because it will be the only runway in use for arrivals by then. So that would be very good news indeed. Right, next up, KLM flight 758. There she is. It is a Boeing 777-300ER arriving from Panama City. Airborne now for 9 hours and 41 minutes. This airplane, 7 years old. First flight was in May 2016. What do you have against Detroit there, Dave? That you're subtracting points for its origin? Just curious. And hey there, Nelson. Also tuning in again. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well. Now, I saw a little wobble. There is a little bit of crosswind. They do make some corrections left and right. A little north of Virginia, too far north for your taste. And indeed, Peter, about an hour and 12 minutes until the arrival of the daily Emirates A380 Super. That is good news. The wind has picked up a little bit compared with earlier in the morning. You can see a bit more rippling in the water. And although you can see ripples, you cannot see water birds. I think we do have a seagull on one of the lanterns. There we go. Also chilling. Embraer 190 arriving from Leeds, one of the last airplanes for Center, I think. Although there is an Air Canada Dreamliner also going to... Oh no, that's coming here. Oh no, I'm wrong. This is an Embraer 190 arriving from Bergen. The Embraer 190 arriving from Leeds is on this runway. What a mistake, Tumaika. So this is the Embraer 190 arriving from Leeds. Behind it is the Dreamliner arriving from Canada. Oh. Okay, so back to the focus ring. Quickly in the menu, manual focus. Override that focus dance. Show both airplanes in one shot. KLM flight 1542 is this Embraer 190 arriving from Leeds. 47 minutes of flight. The airplane is 13 years old. First flight was in October 2009. Squeaky brakes. Hey Martijn, goedemiddag. Welcome to the stream. All other viewers who are new to the channel and have joined us just now, welcome to AMS Live. My name is Boy. You're watching arrivals on the Polderbaan, runway 18 right. At the moment, once again, the only runway in use for arrivals. Wind is blowing from the south, varying between southwest and southeast. These airplanes are coming from the north, landing to the south. This is Air Canada flight 900, arriving from Montreal, Boeing 7878 Dreamliner. Real sunglasses, cockpit look. The glass even looks darkened compared with standard cockpit glass. Hey Gabriella, goedemorgen. Good morning this morning. And you're right, Peter. At the moment, the only A380 is from Emirates that we are seeing over here in Amsterdam. By the way, this Dreamliner was 9 years old. First flight was in April 2014. Next up is a Dreamliner from TUI, arriving from Bonaire. Hey Michael, good morning. Checking in from Florida. Good to see you again, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Over here it is getting warm, but it's also luckily a bit windy, which compensates for the increase in air temperature. Right now, Polderbaan is once again the only runway in use for arrivals, and arriving next is this TUI Dreamliner flight 383 Boeing 7878, arriving from Bonaire, from the Caribbean. This airplane is underway now for 8 hours and 36 minutes. It is 8 years old. First flight was in November 2014. Also overhead, an airplane that just took off from runway 24. So at the moment the air temperature is already past 25 degrees Celsius. Last time I checked the meter, it was 27 degrees Celsius already, so that is about 84 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Today's high is expected to be around 30 degrees Celsius or 90 degrees Fahrenheit. If I show you guys the big picture, you can see not a cloud in the sky. Hard to see any contrails today. This is facing west. This is facing south. This is facing east. This is facing north. There are a few daredevils out here. Also doing a bit of spotting. Further in the distance, 3 sets of landing lights visible, at least visually. Let me see if I can also show you on the camera. Focus on infinity and manual. I think you should see all 3 pairs right now. In the foreground is an Embraer 175 arriving from Darlington, KLM. Behind it is a Play A320neo arriving from Reykjavik in the bright red. Also a livery very nice to look at. After that, a Boeing 737-700 from KLM arriving from Billund. So you can just see the glide slope visualized. So this is KLM flight 1534, Embraer 175 arriving from Darlington. Oh, almost tripped over one of my tripod legs. Will we be getting the butt shot? I think we might. There we go. Once again in line with the first exit. The first time for Marissa to see the plane live on stream. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, strap down for this. Play A320neo arriving from Reykjavik, flight 460. After 2 hours and 53 minutes of flight, now touching down. This airplane is brand new. First flight was in October 2022. Basically a successor of the formerly Wow Air. Now, as far as bright liveries go, this ranks among the top. Now, Spirit is is an airliner that we don't see over here. Of course, bright yellow. The yellow of DHL is not as bright as that of Spirit. But it would make a nice combo seeing DHL, Play and ITA Airways back to back for a rainbow of colors. And you're right, Peter, it isn't necessarily pretty, but it is striking, that is for sure. So, KLM flight 1344, Boeing 737-700 arriving from Billund. The mini And temp account asks when JetBlue will arrive in Amsterdam. Wasn't that around the end of August, beginning of September? I'm sure there's somebody more knowledgeable than me who knows with more certainty than I do, but I thought I read it was I think there were 2 flights coming to Amsterdam, one of which was in around the end of August and the other one was somewhere in September, but don't take my word for it. I am not the most informed person regarding this subject. Let's see, in the pipeline at the moment, Embraers. We're going to see them all. Embraer 190 first, Embraer 175 second, Embraer E2 195 third. And this is German Airways flying for KLM. Embraer 190 arriving from Basel. 1 hour and 8 minutes underway. The airplane 14 years old, first flight January 2009, KLM flight 1986. Also going for the nice sunglasses cockpit look. Are they also darkened, the window glasses? Hard to see. I was under the impression that with the A320neo it was darker, and with the Air Canada, but it might also be just my impression. Hey Peter, goedemiddag, good afternoon. Now, Tim is saying that the next Embraer is the DAPRI, Lifeliner chocolate cake. But according to what I have here on Flight Radar, it says KLM Embraer 175 arriving from Berlin. And the Embraer 190 we saw just now was not the Lifeliner chocolate livery, unfortunately. But I wouldn't be surprised if we'll be seeing it later in the stream. Now that day has gone by without us seeing it at least once. There have been a few occasions where we saw it twice in the same stream, after having gone to a destination and flown back and leaving for another destination. So this was KLM flight 1820 Embraer 175 arriving from Berlin after 1 hour and 3 minutes. The airplane 5 years old, first flight January 2018. Next up, on approach, the chocolate livery, excellent. Oh, probably arriving from Stuttgart as number 2 right now. Was a bit distracted by the intermittent engine sound of that moped that just passed by. That did not sound too healthy, as if it was missing strokes. Skipping a beat. Anyway, E2 Embraer 195 KLM flight 1414 this is, arriving from Lyon in France after a flight of 1 hour and 15 minutes, about to touch down. This airplane 2 years old, first flight March 2021. Alright, now, did anybody say chocolate? It is time for the DAPRI. Not even have to look it up. DAPRI, Embraer 190, 15 years old, first flight January 2008. Know it by heart by now. We've seen it on almost each stream in the last couple of months. Embraer 190, the Lycifer Chocolaterie Special Livery. This time arriving from Stuttgart after a flight of 58 minutes. The airplane is 15 years old. First flight was in January 2008. After that, we are going to see an A330 from Delta Airlines, also arriving from Minneapolis. It is already quite close up behind the Embraer 190, so I'm not going to follow the landing very extensively. Nice little wheelie. Not the longest of the stream, obviously. Still some nice chocolate on the side. Also hearing an airplane depart, turning around to the north, passing over me. 737 by the looks of it. Now, this is Delta Airlines Flight 164, Airbus A330-300, arriving from Minneapolis after 7 hours and 39 minutes of flying at the moment. The airplane is 17 years old. First flight was in July 2005. Let's see how this one will do in the wheelie department. So far all the heavy hitters have been A330s. Oh, that nose wheel went down quite quickly already. But then they did make up for that with their usage of the reverse thrust. Hope you guys can still hear properly. That was loud over here. They were probably listening to Jennifer Lopez in the cockpit. Let's get loud. Anyway, next up, a 777, Boeing 777-300ER in fact, KLM flight 744. She is arriving from Lima in Peru. 11 hours and 36 minutes underway right now, almost half a day airborne. The airplane is 10 years old. First flight was in June 2012. Yeah, you're right, temp account. I had noticed the same. They used flight numbers for airplane types that are flight numbers that are other airplane types. Ah, King Ding has to go barbecue. Oh, what a perfect excuse to leave the stream. Enjoy, my friend. It is nice weather to do some barbecuing or whatever. Right, next up, Boeing 737-700, arriving from Milan by the looks of it. So, two airplanes visible visually. Let me see if I can show you guys. Focus to infinity and manual focus. That's one, that's two. Okay, so here we have both in the same shot. Yeah, there we go. Two airplanes approaching. In the foreground, Boeing 737-700 from KLM arriving from Milan. Behind it, a lot Embraer 190. That is arriving from Warsaw. Gives me a few seconds to take a few sips of water. Hey stranger, also back in the stream. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. So, Boeing 737-700, KLM flight 1620 arriving from Milan. Probably 1.5 hours or so underway. Flight radar doesn't say so anymore. This airplane, 13 years old, first flight was in January 2010. And if you're just tuning in, welcome to AMS Live. My name is Boy and we are standing next to the Polderbaan, runway 18 right at the moment, and at the moment also the only runway in use for arrivals. Two runways in use for departures at the moment, 06 and 18 left. Now runway, not 06, 24, sorry. 06 is for landing. 24 is for departures. This is what you can see of it. If airplanes are going to the north, they are going to make a right hand turn and come towards us. In that case we can show them quite well because they are coming back and are also going to be flying over here. Now, missed the touchdown of the lot there. Arriving from Warsaw. As you guys can see, the sun is out, not a cloud in the sky. Absolutely high pressure weather. In fact, we also have a warm wind blowing from the Mediterranean, from the south to the north today. And that is why today's high is expected to lie around 30 degrees Celsius or approximately 90 degrees Fahrenheit. If you look in the ticker, the latest update, it was already 27 degrees Celsius, so that is 84-ish Fahrenheit. There is a bit of wind, luckily, otherwise it wouldn't have been doable staying out here for such a long time. The general direction of the wind is from the south, although it varies between southwest and southeast. If you look to the smoke of the chimneys that is lying to the northwest of us, it is blowing away, so the wind is now blowing from the southwest a bit. And here is the next airplane to arrive on Polderbaan. It is an EasyJet A320neo arriving from Basel. Flight 21221. Now it's obviously a relatively new airplane and this one is a year old. First flight was in November 2021. Marissa is informing us that the daily Emirates A380 is about 45 minutes out and estimated to arrive around 1:15 p.m. local time. If you look in the ticker in the left bottom corner, you can see the local time. It is 12:30 p.m. almost right now. A320 from Vueling arriving from Alicante. Now I am going to stick around for the A380. Hopefully the runway configuration as is will still be in place by then, because that will mean the A380 is going to land in front of us, just as this Vueling A320 has done just now. Although you can rest assured that it will not vacate from the first exit over here, where you can get this beautiful butt shot and also see the spoilers go down. Looks like the flaps are already going up as well. Yep, they are. They have. And yes, stranger Vueling lady Kathleen is missing. I'm sure she is also very busy and will join again when she is ready to. Now in terms of air traffic flying over, that has taken off from runway 24. Here is an example. Where is it? Well, it's easier for me to follow them if you see them a bit further out in advance. Another A320neo from EasyJet. This one is arriving from Dubrovnik. Seemed it was a bit looked like it was a bit struggling a bit with wind. Could have been just me. A few more corrections left and right, it looked like. At least that was my impression. Maybe I'm just wrong. And again, the butt shot. There you go. Spoilers down. Flaps will go up in a minute. And vacating the runway. The preceding EasyJet still in the distance. They first have to taxi around the tower over here, the fire station, then along the trees, back to the main platform area. And hey there Snorri, good afternoon, welcome to the stream. Another Vueling, another A320neo, this one coming in from Barcelona. They do seem to be struggling with the wind a little bit, banking left and right last minute before touching down. This A320neo, 3 years old already. First flight was in April 2020. Nope. Going down. Flaps. Don't see them go up yet. Alrighty. Hey Anja, goedemiddag, good afternoon. And holy moly. Thank you so much there, Dave, for an extremely generous super chat. And Dave has to be off to the fire station again for another 24 hours. Great stream as always, boy, and hope y'all have a great weekend. Great butt shots today. Be safe, gang. Well, thank you so much for your attendance, Dave. Thank you so much for your very generous super chat, my friend. All the best on your shift in the fire station. Take care. Enjoy the rest of the weekend and hopefully see you soon on one of the new upcoming streams in the future. Now, I was a bit distracted. I had to go to the laptop, obviously. So this is an Embraer 190 from KLM arriving from Prague by the looks of it. No butt shot for the Embraer. It is doing a typical KLM, textbook KLM landing. Namely keeping up the speed and vacating at a later exit. Making sure that the taxi time, which is lengthy from over here, is abbreviated as much as possible. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Schiphol, you might have already been looking at this and thinking, hey, is the control tower over here? Well, this is a dedicated ATC control tower for the Polderbaan. That is because this runway is so far removed from the main platform area. This is where the original ATC control tower is. All the other runways are also more in the vicinity of this tower, obviously. The main terminal building where all the gates are is also directly next to this tower. Or I should say this tower is directly adjacent to the main terminal building. So you can imagine as an airplane is taking off from runway 18 left. Always have to think twice before saying it. But you can imagine now you might be able to see something going on over here if you have binoculars or a telescope or something, but you can imagine that if visibility is less than perfect, you cannot see a thing. Hence a dedicated ATC control tower, next to it a dedicated fire station. Now, as Tim was saying, A330 on final, Delta Airlines, Flight 144, Airbus A330-300. She is coming in from Seattle in Washington State. 9 hours and 15 minutes of flying under its belt right now. The airplane is 19 years old. First flight was in October 2003. And Han asks about A340's landing on Schiphol ever. Well, in fact, Han, we have filmed one a couple of times. Suriname Airways is flying with the A340 to Paramaribo up and down again. So every other day. And this is a nice wheelie. Not as long as the record holder for today. Also, the nose wheel pitch was not as impressive as was with the others, but still a very well executed wheelie. Now, there, as I was saying, we have Suriname Airways now flying to and from Paramaribo every other day. They have recently acquired or rented or leased another A340. So we did see it leave earlier in the stream from runway 24. Couldn't see a lot of detail. If I recall correctly, I have also... I think we saw it depart up close on Friday. Last Friday. If you want to see it, check back the stream. I have timestamped it. I was standing on the other side near the entrance. And it did take off from Polderbaan. We were standing up close then. So 777-200 arriving from Guayaquil. Okay, not the most impressive in terms of wheelies. Okay, then flight 751 17 years old, this 777 already. Okay, that is sad news, Marissa. Korean Air Cargo that was supposed to land round now has been delayed until 5:30 p.m. And definitely worth looking back, Han. I think, yeah, it was on the stream of yesterday. I was standing on the other side of the runway. Really nice livery, although it does look a lot like Air Belgium. And a Globemaster from Sofia to PIK, don't know the abbreviation, at 32,000 feet. Now let me have a look up. I absolutely see no contrails in the sky at all at the moment, unfortunately. Did see a C-17 Globetrotter the other day. Was it yesterday? No, it was also on Friday. Also highlighted in, also time-stamped as a highlight, by the way. You could see some detail in it. Hey there, North Sky Aviation, good morning. Welcome back, good to see you again. Hope you're doing well. Now, I think we have a Finnair special livery A350 that is taking off and is flying back to Helsinki. Damn it. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, that is the special livery. Bit late to the action. If there are interesting planes taking off from runway 24 that have a destination in the north, such as this airplane, do let me know in the chat, because I can follow the airplane as it's doing its round and flying back north. I'm doing well as well, North Sky, although I have to say it is a bit warm over here. The wind has dropped a little bit. Also noticing a few bugs. Oh, they are, well, what's the English word for lieveheersbeestje, ladies and gentlemen? Anyway, E2 Embraer 195 arriving from Birmingham. KLM flight 1424. Tripping over some wires by... Was standing a little bit to the side just now for that A350 from Finnair, and my feet was still tangled in two wires, so I had to untangle them carefully, otherwise I would rip plugs out of equipment that you don't want to have unplugged untimely. This was KLM flight 1424, E2 Embraer 195 arriving from Birmingham. The airplane 1 year old, first flight October 2001. Ladybug, that is it indeed. I forgot. So there was a ladybug on my arm just now. Now the wind is picking up again, luckily. As you guys can see in the ticker, it is getting warm. And without wind, it would be unbearable. Next up, Vueling, arriving from Valencia. A320, flight 8353. The airplane is airborne for 2 hours and 3 minutes right now. She is 10 years old. First flight was in March 2013. You can see that the wind is picking up a little bit every now and then. Last half hour, many of the narrow bodies were banking left and right a little bit just before touching down. Slight application of the reverse thrust, audible just now. Snorri says an Iceland airplane will be arriving soon. Excellent. Okay, Rowenda, thank you so much for joining. I hope you had as much fun as I have had so far. And enjoy the rest of your Sunday. See you soon. And indeed, Han, very useful against aphids. You can even buy ladybirds in packets for that purpose. If your plants are suffering from aphids a lot. A320neo arriving from Palma de Mallorca, but as Snorri was saying, Icelandair is on the arrival and we don't want to miss it. It is a Boeing 767-300ER. Come on, focus you damn camera. There we go. Icelandair Flight 500. This is one of their older airplanes. Still in the old livery, still flying. 767-300ER. Arriving from Reykjavik after 2 hours and almost 50 minutes of flying. This airplane is 25 years old. First flight was in October 1997, so she is a millennial. And K3 will be coming in the foreground from the left in a moment. Yep. Another nice butt shot, this time round from a bigger butt. And Tim is also informing us that there is an Aero Mexico Dreamliner coming this way. Now there are a few narrow bodies preceding it by the looks of it. First up, Royal Air Maroc by the looks of it. Royal Air Maroc Flight 1680, Boeing 737-800 arriving from Nador in Morocco. 2 hours and 39 minutes of flying time at the moment. It is a 15-year-old airplane that had its first flight in January 2008. Now, I'm still waiting for the Aero Mexico Dreamliner in the Quetzalcoatl special livery. I have seen it once, but that was before I was setting up my camera, so I missed it. Now this also looks very nice. Nice subtle combination of green and red. Well, no time to linger because the next airplane is already getting closer by and the Aero Mexico Dreamliner is behind it. And then 777 will be coming after that. Can we show both in the same shot? Is it visible already? I have to check back in on the laptop. Oh, just about. Just about. Well, let's focus on what we can see best. Transavia arriving from Alicante. Flight 6144. This airplane is already 21 years old. First flight was in April 2002. Now, the next airplane, Aeromexico Flight 25, 7879 Dreamliner. The middle biggest. The mid-size. Arriving from Mexico City after 9 hours and 44 minutes of flying. This airplane is 3 years old and had its first flight in October 2019. Standard livery, not the Quetzalcoatl, but we can't have it all. And I personally haven't seen the Icelandair Hekla Aurora livery. Also still on the to see list. Now I'm thinking, if I continue streaming long enough, we're bound to see all the special liveries at some point. I know for a fact that the pilots have been listening to Jennifer Lopez. Let's get loud. That cannot be otherwise. They have to have had it on in the cockpit. That was really loud. And in the meantime, Snorri just became a member, so thank you so much for your support there, Snorri, and welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. And also Sarah Jane RN celebrating 1 month of membership, saying good day from Australia. Thank you so much, Sarah Jane, for your ongoing support, and good day to you too. Good evening, I should say. Getting pretty late in Australia, I imagine, right now. Well, I was still zoomed in. Right. Now, next up. And hey there, Christian. Good day. Welcome back. Good to see you. Next up is number 10, worldwide most tracked. That doesn't say a lot. 272 people are following this airplane on flight radar right now. KLM flight 736. It is a Boeing 777-300ER. Arriving from Curaçao, Willemstad. This airplane is underway for 8 hours and 15 minutes. She's 5 years old, first flight September 2017. Let's see if we have another wheelie competition competitor here. The pitch is nice and high. That looks promising. Promising. No. No. Close but no cigar. It started off promising, but the nose wheel went down relatively quickly. And Marissa and Michael are informing us that the Emirates A380 is in Dutch airspace and is about 25 minutes out, but 18C also has reopened. Yeah, then chances are that we are only going to see it from a distance, ladies and gentlemen. Richard just landed and I didn't see it. 18R. Yeah, on the sim. Well, maybe it is just a temporary thing. No, it is an official change now. 18 right, 18C, both open for arrivals. 24 and 18 left open for departures. Well, in that case, the only thing we can do is keep our fingers crossed, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, it does seem, Antti, I noticed the same. It does seem that they open 18 center for Emirates. Where is it right now? That also means that the Saudi Dreamliner preceding it will be going to center most likely. Already a 777 from Shanghai that is going to center. Huh. And what do we get? Embraers. So many Embraers, although this one is a bit more shiny than the other ones. So this is a SkyTeam livery Embraer 190 arriving from Glasgow. Nice high pitch. Also a very decent wheelie. Not the longest, but definitely decent. Right, now going for center, Transavia arriving from Kos. Flight 1834, underway for 3 hours and 16 minutes. The airplane, 7 years old, first flight was in June 2016. Meanwhile, over here, Boeing 737 from KLM, flight 1700, arriving from Madrid after an hour and 49 minutes. The airplane is 15 years old, first flight was in March 2008. Next up for center is a 777. China Cargo Airlines Flight 205 arriving from Shanghai after 10 hours and 17 minutes of being airborne right now. This airplane is 3 years old. First flight was in June 2020. Snorri has to go back studying for exams. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Snorri. Best of luck with studying. Hope your studying and your exams will go well. And undoubtedly we'll see you again soon during one of the upcoming streams after you have successfully passed all your exams, undoubtedly. 2 airplanes coming parallel. For us, A318. For center, A330. And another 737 behind it for us. Now there is a 777 from Atlanta arriving further north. That is probably going to come to this runway. Now, are we going to watch Air France A318 from Paris Charles de Gaulle, or are we going to watch the Turkish A330 in the distance? And yes, stranger, A318. That has sparked some interest. In that case, let me just show you the minute Air France A318. If I can get the focus to help. This is Air France, flight 1640, arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle. Short flight, 46 minutes of airtime. The airplane is 16 years old. First flight was in December 2006. Tiny, tiny airplane. And squeaky brakes. Hey Steven, goedemiddag. I don't need gloves today, you're absolutely right about that. The only thing I need is sunscreen and water. Definitely no need for gloves today, fortunately. Okay, Arnoud also has to go. Thank you so much for joining again, Arnoud. And have a nice Sunday. And see you again soon. And hello, Marijn. Good afternoon. No parasol. I have been thinking about it. Might be something to look into in the future, but for now, no parasol. Just make sure that you have adequate sunscreen on. Don't stream too long, or reapply, of course, in time. I think the logistics is a bit elaborate. You need not only a parasol, but also things to secure it with, because as you guys can see, the wind is definitely there. might be something for in the future. I do have a cart with me that I can take stuff in. I already am carrying a lot of stuff with me. Might have to hire a helper to bring all my luggage with me. Alright, next up. Nah, it doesn't look like it's in focus now. It is. Okay. Next up, 777. Arriving from Atlanta, Georgia, KLM flight 622. Airborne now for 8 hours almost exactly. Boeing 777-300ER, 14 years old. First flight May 2009. And yeah, indeed, Stephen, if there is no wind, it is quite warm. Even with the wind, it is still quite warm. The exception to the rule, of course, today. Let's see how it does in the wheelie department. Not too bad. Not too bad, but not a winner. Not the winner of today. The A330s do seem to be better suited. Yeah, well, Michael, this is one of those collapsible pulling wagons. Maybe I wasn't able to show you properly because my pen handle was blocking the way a little bit. But I do have one. The handle is so that was a very handy investment to bring in a lot of stuff. Let's see. So dual runway in use, unfortunately, for landing. That doesn't bode well for the Emirates A380. That is also approaching quickly. Let's see. Saudia Dreamliner is underway for center over here. Top Air Portugal A319. Think I might need an assistant indeed, Michael. And a second cart. Oh man, they already see me coming over here. Yeah, so Saudia Dreamliner for center. And over here we have a Top Air Portugal A319 arriving from Lisbon. So Top Air Portugal flight 674. This is A319 arriving from Lisbon. 2 hours and 20 minutes of flying time. There is a little bit of wind, you can see it. We do have to do a little bit of correcting here and there, particularly the narrow bodies, the lighter airplanes. But it has touched down successfully. I always like how these thrust reversers have 4 little valves that open and close simultaneously. It's a nice variant on the casing sliding back entirely, in its entirety. And a nice butt shot for the Top Air Portugal to boot. A booty shot to boot. Saudia in the meantime just behind the trees, out of view already. Quickly back to what we can see over here. (737-800) KLM arriving from Barcelona, if I'm not mistaken. Now, coming over here, it's an A320 from Aer Lingus arriving from Dublin. I'm also checking a bit further out. It has all the A380 going to 18 center. Is it visible already? Sure is. Big motherfucker. Where is it? Where is it? Wat zei je? Ja, welke windmolen? Ik heb hem nog niet.
De soortje windmolens daar zo.
Ja?
En dan zet hij hem link.
Oh ja, ik zie hem, indeed.
Ja.
Thanks Remco. Let me go back to the... Now let me see if I can also point the camera where Remco was indicating. Let's see, the group of windmills. And it was just to the left, so here approximately. Get my bearings again. Do you guys see? Do we have it? No, not yet. Again, it is above the... Oh, it's above the leftmost. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Yeah, Han, let's hope that YouTube does not hear and demonetizes this stream. Now, here is the last airplane of the day. Unfortunately not going to this runway. The daily Emirates A380 Super arriving from Dubai, flight 147. Number 2, most tracked worldwide at the moment, tracked by 728 people. Now hopefully those people are tuning into AMS Live so they can see it live as well. It is in the standard livery by the looks of it, although Flight Radar has not been the most reliable source in that respect recently. Also falsely saying that there was a Journey to the Future livery inbound when there wasn't. This airplane, according to Flight Radar, is 9 years old. First flight was in June 2014 and it is underway now for 6 hours and 25 minutes. And Paul, really unfortunate timing if you are tuning out just moments before the A380 is touching down. Hopefully you're still around. If not, thanks for joining, and once again, we'll see you soon. Now this is going to be the last airplane of the day. After this airplane is no longer visible for me, we will be able to see it also after it has touched down on the center runway, particularly a big airplane like this. I am going to wrap it up after that. So thank you all so much for joining me here today. I hope you guys had as much fun as I have. If you're new to the channel but you're liking what you're seeing, consider subscribing if you haven't done so. Not only will you help me immensely with reaching more people like you and me who are also into aviation live streaming content such as this, it also allows you to turn on notifications so that whenever I go live again, you receive notification, and if you have the time for it and are feeling like it, can join us for more action from Schiphol Airport. A380 getting photo bombed by Air France. Now, the upside of a big behemoth is that you can see it quite well, even if it is already quite far away from us. I think this is about where it is ending. How far we can see. Alright then. Folks, it's been a blast. Thank you all so much for joining me and for staying tuned in all the time. I've had a blast and I hope you guys did too. Like and subscribe if you are into this and want more. Thank you all so much. Everybody who was so kind to donate super chats, super stickers and whatnot. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. I hope you guys will enjoy the rest of your Sunday and be safe if you're going out in the sun. Hopefully I'll see you again soon. For now I'm going to say goodbye, take care and bye for now.